Bah. You probably thought GOAT was just another animal sports movie, but you missed the biggest secret of 2026. Sony Pictures Animation, the same team that gave us the Spider-Verse and K-pop Demon Hunters, packed this movie with so many hidden cameos and NBA references that it's impossible to see them all in one sitting. So let's break down every Easter egg, hidden detail, and piece of trivia buried inside GOAT, the 2026 Sony Pictures Animation movie that came out February 13th and has already crossed $181 million worldwide. Here are 17 things you probably missed in GOAT. Let's start with the most important thing you need to know about this movie. Will Harris isn't just a fictional character, he is, without question, a direct metaphor for Stephen Curry. Think about it. Will is a small goat, not a tiger, not a lion, not a bear, in a sport dominated by the biggest and most powerful animals on the planet. He's told from day one that he's too small, too weak, too fragile to compete, and yet his speed, his range, and his unconventional style completely revolutionized the game. That is textbook Steph Curry. The director himself confirmed it. They took Curry's real journey as a basketball player and infused it directly into Will's character. And the movie doesn't hide it either. Will pulls off Curry's signature night-night celebration and at one point even busts out the classic Curry shimmy. There's no mistaking who this character is built on. Curry came out of Davidson College, a small school that nobody was watching, and went 7th in the 2009 NBA draft. And here's the part that actually hurt. Minnesota used 2 lottery picks on point guards, Rubio at 5 and Flynn at 6, and still didn't take Curry. The Warriors got him at 7. Scouts said he was too small, too slow, not athletic enough to be a star. And now, the man is widely considered the greatest shooter in basketball history and a 4-time NBA champion. And here's a piece of trivia most people completely missed. This movie didn't just come together overnight, it was actually in development as far back as 2019, taking nearly 7 years to go from idea to screen. This was never a quick cash grab. Stephen Curry and his production company, Unanimous Media, were quietly crafting this project behind the scenes for years, long before it was officially announced in May 2024. The release date was not an accident. GOAT released February 13th, 2026, the exact first day of the 2026 NBA All-Star Weekend in Los Angeles. The NBA All-Star Game itself was played 2 days later on the 15th. Sony worked directly with the NBA to time this release, and the contract that Will signed with the Thorns is also dated February 13th. When Will returns to the Whiskers Diner with Jet in the movie, on the wall there is an old Jet Fillmore High School jersey, the number 20. It is exactly the same number Steph Curry wore in high school. Jet Fillmore wears number 3, while Will Harris wears number 0, together forming 30, a direct homage to Stephen Curry's jersey number 30. This detail is hiding in plain sight. In the scene where Jet Fillmore is leaving the Whiskers Diner, his driver pulls up to take him back, and if you look closely at the car's license plate, it reads 2/13/2026. That's the exact date GOAT was released in theaters. And this is actually the second time Sony hid the release date inside the movie. Sony didn't just use fake brands for GOAT, they went full realism with an Under Armour partnership. The Thorns Rollerball uniforms and shoes are manufactured by Under Armour, and the sneakers are actually the Curry 13S, which dropped in Will, Lenny, and Mayne colorways this February. It's a genius bit of marketing from Unanimous Media. Now let's talk about one of the most obviously coded characters in the entire movie. Moto Olechenko, the Komodo dragon voiced by Nick Kroll. Moto has pierced claws painted in different colors and a stud in his tongue. He's eccentric, flamboyant, and unforgettable. Sound familiar? That's Dennis Rodman, the pierced, tattooed, hair-dyed, rebounding machine legend of the Chicago Bulls. The film is clearly paying homage to Rodman through this character. And those aren't the only real sports legends hiding in the movie. Kevin Love voices Daskas, a gorilla on the Shadows. Love spent the bulk of his career as a big man, a bruiser, so gorilla is a perfect fit. Angel Reese voices Prop, a polar bear on the Shivers. Massive, dominant, intimidating, exactly how Reese plays in the Women NBA. And Aja Wilson voices Kuyate, an alligator on the Shadows. Wilson is a 4-time Women NBA MVP, 2 of them back-to-back in 2024 and 2025. GOAT has not 1, but 2 real-life couples embedded in the cast, and in both cases, the characters are on opposite sides. Stephen and Aisha Curry. Steph is Lenny Williamson, a giraffe on the Vineland Thorns. Aisha is Carol, a diner owner. They share the same world in the movie but aren't on the same team. Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. Union plays Jet Fillmore, the face of the Thorns. Wade plays Rosette, a player for the opposing Shadows. The married couple literally face each other on the court. That's one of the most fun pieces of casting trivia in the whole movie. Andre Iguodala, Curry's longtime Golden State Warriors teammate, voices Iggy, a zebra referee. And if you know anything about the NBA, you know how funny it is to put Iguodala on the other side of the whistle. But here's the real hidden detail. Iguodala didn't just show up to voice a character. He was actually brought in as a consultant on the film, where he diagrammed real basketball plays at a whiteboard for the directors. According to director Tyree Dillahay, those plays were directly adapted into the rollerball sequences in the movie, and there's a strong hint that some of those plays came straight from the Warriors championship playbook. When the team hits up the sneaker shop to get their pro gear, the vulture behind the counter named Sneaky is actually voiced by real-life sneaker legend Joe LaPuma. This one flew under the radar. Will Harris is voiced by Caleb McLaughlin, who plays Lucas Sinclair in Stranger Things, and his teammate Archie Everhart, the Rhinoceros Enforcer, is voiced by David Harbour, who plays Chief Jim Hopper in Stranger Things. Lucas and Hopper on the same rollerball team, sharing scenes together. Nobody really made a big deal of this, but for Stranger Things fans, it's a quiet little reunion hiding inside an animated basketball movie about animals. Emily Morgan designed all of the rollerball team logos in GOAT, not just the Vineland Thorns. She is known for her viral sports logo content on social media and spent over 500 hours across 600 rough drafts and 7 color palettes to bring all the team branding to life. Here's something interesting that didn't make it into the final film. The trailers showed several scenes of Olivia, in the ostrich played by Nicola Coughlan, reacting to social media feeds. There was even a shot of her burying her head in a bucket of sand, only to find her phone inside and start crying. Most of that storyline about her phoneaholic tendencies didn't make it into the final movie. It's one of those cases where the trailers told a slightly different version of the story. Here's a fun little detail you might have missed. The film only used the famous screaming goat internet meme once. For a movie literally called GOAT, with a goat as the main character, they showed serious restraint. One moment, one laugh, then they moved on. There's even a full Roar League website created for the movie. It includes a tournament calendar, player sections for Will, Jet, and Monet, a quiz, a Roarball roundup ticker, and trailer previews, all designed to make the world feel real. GOAT is one of those movies that rewards you for knowing the sport it's celebrating. On the surface, it's a fun underdog story, but underneath, it's loaded with real NBA DNA, secret Sony Animation callbacks, real championship-winning basketball plays, and a cast stacked with some of the most recognizable names in sports history hiding behind animal designs. Drop in the comments what Easter egg surprised you the most, and if I missed any, let me know down below.